Yeah. Not meant to be able to see me.
No, we can hear you. How are you today, Anne?
What's your language? We're recorded.
Oh
Are you
dear.
recording?
We did it. I got loads of pictures come in this week.
Oh, that's good. Really good.
Oh, not that one.
Oh dear. Oh, I like the one at the back, the picture.
Wearing his pants like that when you
Oh, that's what you get up to, is it, in your spare time?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a bit of a rascal, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
I have to save a lady, and I am a gentleman because I will save ladies' reputations as well.
That's
This
nice.
Yeah.
Everyone done well on this. I
Good.
must have been a good study guide on this one because
It's a good picture. Whose is
Yeah.
that?
It was nice.
that's our Carol.
That's lovely,
Oh,
Carol.
right.
That's our
Yeah.
Carol. Well done, Carol. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's not so much the subject's okay, but the thing about it is the way of producing it is fairly da-di-da-di-da. Once you go through that motion, it's fairly. That's what I started with. Carol sent me a wibbly wobbly one, and so I. It's amazing what you can do with the software. You can, you know, fiddle around with the perspective of it and fix it. I've got a couple of those this week. That's yours, isn't it, Chris? Yeah, that's a bright one.
I forgot this. I forgot to put the sunset. Yeah, I just noticed in Carol's. Oh well, I'm not going to do it now. I think it would.
No,
It wasn't that bright. It was just a hint of
It was just a little hint, wasn't it?
a couple of residual sun bright thingies. It's all right.
That was
Gorgeous
That was
colours.
Well,
Yeah,
it's,
it's lovely.
it's acrylic.
did
you
it
can-
freehand, and it was getting all those fence things going the right way.
It's a bit
yeah.
like doing Rubik's Cube, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, oh, that one goes there. Now, what's happening with that there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed that one.
Bit of
Yeah,
fun.
I did.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, who's this?
That was mine.
That's
Oh,
That's
that
Oh,
was
yes. got a
Joyce
sailing
Tippett.
boat in yours.
Yeah. And Joyce put some.
and some birdies.
Eagle.
Oh, well, Joyce.
I've got to have some birds of some sort.
Looks better when you look
That's
closer. It looks better like it would if it was framed, but smaller like that. Then you can
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's well done.
Thank you.
Very nice.
My first instinct was, I bet Joyce be annoyed. I made her paint normal. No, we're traditional. But it has got. She sent a wonky one as well, so I straightened that up. Amazing.
You put all the holes in the post as well. Something else I didn't know.
No. Were there?
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't really look at the picture. I just did it.
I'm not very observant. Really. am.
Well, that's all part of the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
but I forgot the sun. It didn't sort of, impact upon me. There was sun in the background.
Yeah.
I think I had to put a couple of white bits in. Yeah, it's right at the back over there. I put just a doodah.
Yeah. Oh, and you've put the holes in as well. I didn't put the holes in.
I just put a blob of white on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a good job there, folks.
Very nice. Yeah.
And the other ones that have come in. Is that Anne's? Yeah, that's Anne's.
Oh,
Oh,
that's good.
I'm way behind.
Good.
Oh well,
Yeah, I am as well.
No pressure.
I'm just one
That's
behind.
great.
I haven't got the fish and chip shop bus, which I thought was an ice cream bus from memory. I
Yeah,
haven't got the link for that one.
So that is just muddy for key on a wet day, isn't it?
yeah. It's interesting.
A fun picture.
It was.
Mm.
I enjoyed that one. It was good fun.
The more you look, the more you get in them, isn't
Yeah.
But they definitely look cold and wet. They're very good.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
it? Once you
The
get,
umbrellas were hard, weren't they?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, finding where the ribs were,
Yeah.
all that sort of gubbins.
Yeah, that's
So,
nice.
Carol,
Lovely.
Yeah.
I was down there this morning chatting to a few people. Bob the Bass, he lives opposite me. He's a bit of a character. He cycles down there and goes out on the boat with his rods, catching bass and selling them to all the restaurants around here.
Oh.
Had a chat with him, and I bumped into Paul, one of the birders from the Christchurch Harbour ornithology group. And he was there with his binoculars on, and he was saying he's spotted a couple of pods of dolphins out there.
Wow.
Yeah, I framed all mine this week, or quite a few.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to go to Carboot, and I thought I'd entertain the people with a art exhibition, but didn't work. The rain came down, so I thought, well, yeah, this morning's is a bit of a rascal picture, isn't it? When it's where's it gone? There we go. Share that. That dog tricked me on the. I thought, what's he got on? But I think it's just his sort of colouring.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's rolled in paint.
Yeah, it's not brindle, is it? It's something else. It's very good made. That's the actual picture. That's Derricks, an old school chum of mine. That's probably his field, actually. Proper old farmer.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it's a nice picture with the dogs.
But I've changed it anyway, so.
Oh yes, I can see you've put a church in, and.
Yeah, I ain't painting blooming fields.
And you've made a pathway.
Ah, see?
Yeah.
All will be revealed.
Indeed.
Let's go for an early lunch. Spotlight for everyone. Oh dear. I've been doing Arthur's theme. Once in your life, you'll find her, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, nice.
And it goes, yeah. What's the chorus? Once you get stuck between the moon and New York City, innit? I've been doing it like a BG. walking around the key going, once you get stuck, stay alive. It's all right, there's nobody around at 6:30. Well, I don't think there is.
They know you're going. They're avoiding you. Oh, that sky's getting very grey out there.
Yeah, it is. There was a plan for rain at midday, I think. Yeah, anyway. One of the things I was doing, just briefly, I don't know if I've got a bit of paper in there. yeah, was about drawing these flipping things. I mean, I have been known to, I use the detail paper sometimes, and if I haven't got any clue what colours are on this picture actually. I haven't printed out a colour version, but yes, I mean, as you know, I very often use the it's called Frisk, this paper. There are two types. There are Frisk detail and Frisk tracing. You want Frisk detail. The detail paper is much better, and you can actually paint and draw on it. Put color notes on it. A lot of people use that, but it still acts as a good hate the word tracing, but you can add, I very often do it, but equally, if you're drawing it from scratch, my theory, well, my thinking is, I've got a small one. What I tend to do is I'll start somewhere, and like I have on here, and look for pointers. Doesn't matter where you start, you've got to start somewhere and just follow it around. But I say pointers, I've missed one here now. If you look at the picture, the dog, this other dog's head is a little bit lower than the other one, so you can channel it in that way. Just follow it around. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake, because we've got those things called rubbers. So you should, one good thing I would say is, if you can, if it's a person, find the eye. I don't know why, but once you get the eye in, it suddenly everything tends to sort of come into focus. That's not the right word, but it just helps. I don't know why, but if you look at it, I mean, I'm looking at it here and I'm thinking, well, I've done that bit, yeah, and that line, but there's a line and it goes round there like that to form that leg. So that's what I just did there. Just went round there and then take it up. That's my play on drawing. I know it, and you just gently stick a few observations in. It's the same with people. A good point of reference is draw the eyes, draw two eyes, and think stuff tends to follow away from them. Once you've got a mouth, then it's a matter of sticking bits on it, and then you'll get a neck and a shoulder, stick a hat, and you're off. There's no magic to it. I've watched these videos and I still do occasionally, draw a circle, put a line down the middle, there's three of them going down that way. After a while you lose the will to live. Because you think, well, yeah, this is great if you want to spend the time doing that, but I don't.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I think a neater way of doing that, dog don't look too bad there that I just did. Matter of fact, I think I'm quite pleased with that. And away you go. And then, I mean, this dog over here, it doesn't matter. I've got it in my eye, in my brain now, that it looks like a seal.
Yeah,
And
just the way his head's turned, isn't it?
yeah, it's the way he's turned. Look at that. He's out walking this blooming seal. Anyway, we could have an early lunch because I have got. I'm I'm not going for dramatic detail. I just wanted to have a bit of fun, really. So be warned. I just, and I did. I invented the church. Well, I've done that. I've seen that church so much in my head.
Yeah.
Well, I walk over there quite often. Actually, I've gone off of walking over Stampit Marsh. I've decided it's manky. I don't like it. It's barren, uninviting, and full of other people's dogs that get on your bloody nerves, that are running around all over the place. I'll only end up getting ratty and causing altercations. So I think, well, you're better off not going over there, Dave. So that's my theory at the moment. Start off with the sky as usual. So a bit of wet. Oh, I'm so relaxed. You can tell by my voice. No, I'm not. I'm like a coiled banana. Spring thing. Anyway, try avoid the bloke, what I have sketched. The bloke is Derrick Salisbury from Bridgewater. I used to go to school with him, lived down the road. Amen Corner. Hello, Susie. That was the first disco I ever went to at the YMCA. Didn't even know what a disco was. Here,
It's most
try it with me.
confusing. It's a
Not
bloke called
wet.
Derrick Salisbury from Bridgewater with Christchurch Priory in the background.
Yeah. You get around, mind. I haven't cleaned my palette much from last week. So I'm just going to wipe out the blue. Shall I zoom in a little bit?
Yeah,
I don't know which one it is now. That one.
that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
clean
I think
the.
so.
Let me put this bit of card underneath here. I'll just wipe this bit over here. I don't know why this one over bottom right segment seems to be the one for blue initially anyway. So I just still got this sort of turquoise, cobalt turquoise here. Add a little bit of ordinary blue, which was coming out green last week, which I didn't quite get I haven't worked that one out yet. Must have been some green paint on the brush. Anyway, so if I get a sky blue, bit of whatever that is now, ultramarine, and might be Prussian blue actually. Ooh, that's a dark. It's a nice sky. As I say, I'm not. After we did a complex sky last week, so this week I just want to do something nice and. That must be Prussian blue. It's got that tinge to it. Watch this space. These brushes are handy if you've got that nice little point on, so you can feather it in. Dark there, isn't it? Perhaps I should go darker over the other side a bit, just to balance it a bit. Problem is this time of year anyway. You're looking for sort of summery sky, aren't we? I'm going to deliberately put some blue around his hat and around him. Hopefully it'll make the figure stand out a little bit. And around the church. What do you reckon about a bit of shady, dirty water? Put some fluffy bits in. hate that. When the computer goes, "Biddle-doo-doo," makes a funny noise. You think, oh no, somebody wants me, and but it wasn't an email. Ooh, don't know why. This piece. Nah. I'm painting on the reverse of the paper, so it's a bit like painting on a straw board. It's got a distinct. I might just lift a bit off the other side. How do we lift it off? Get a 1-inch flat or flat brush, piece of tissue in our hand. Check there's no funny paint on the wall on the brush. Dry it off in our fingers on our tissue and just roll it around while the paper's wet, and see if we can suck them up. Just didn't think that might be all right. That's that bit done. Well, that's it then. We're on a home run already. Just going to dry that off a minute. Dry that. Next bit should be done. Get a wiggle on actually. I just thought to myself, there's more here than you think. Now what I've got to do, I've actually put a pencil line around here. You'll see what I'm on about. So I'm just going to make clean water on the brush and dab in along here because I'm going to make it into foliage. So we're thinking trees now. Plenty of water. Do, do, do. Be happy while you're painting. Sing a little bit. Raw sienna. It's all right. And dab some raw sienna in. Just dab it on the water. The wet area that I've just made. I'm making this up as I go along, as you can tell. I've got a bit of yellow. I want a bit, I can dab a bit of that in. Brighten it up. I think it's the remains of well done. Put that in. A little bit of blue. Into the blue. On top there. Blimey, that is a hint of blue. I said a hint. Oh well. Said we're going for fun. Drop that in on top of the yellow. Let the water do the work. Are we bothered? No. Oh, blimey. Bit more raw sienna. Just build up the colours. Use the bits that are in your palette. If you want to put a bit of green in, do so. I've got some, just to show, I don't care. There's some peach Melba. I don't know what colour it is actually. It says peach on the tin. That'll do, I think, for now. Perhaps a little bit more blue the other end. Quite like the blue now. It's sort of teasing itself back in. count to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1. If you've got if you've got a credit card or an old card, I'm just going to go from the top, drag it down. Oh, it's a bit wobbly, this paper. That'll do. Obviously, I don't want to go over the figure, so I didn't make him more. That'll do. The edges of the. I found this card. It's a Boots one. It smells. I think it's out of date. No, it was on the floor, so I thought, oh, that'll do. And it's got a nice sort of flippy whip to it. Right. It's all right, isn't it? So gradually build up the subject. See if I can use that same little brush all the way through. While that's drying off, use a bit of June sand colour. I need to sit down for this. I need more of a steady hand. Oh, I think I'm lifting all the carpet out. Oh, cool. Like a maniac. Yeah, a little bit of sandy colour, I think. I think I might do exactly the same as that on the church. Well, just make it wet. Clean water. We'll leave the reef for a minute. Now put some paint on. Just let it lead itself around. That was sand. Bit of raw sienna. What? Raw sienna just came off blue. Wow, that's cool. I like that. Bit of raw sienna. Let it know, bit brighter. Don't be afraid. Raw sienna is one of those colours, isn't it? It goes. It fades really right back into the paper. Where's that card gone? Shall I? Yeah, go on. Smudge it up a bit. Then what I'm going to do, so I'll use a fan brush. Mix up a bit of Scottish blue. Stand up again now. And just because the fan brush has got all these sort of separated, isn't it? It's not. I'm just going to go straight across. Bit more colour. This paper is really sort of. Okay. A bit off with some tissue. Clean up the figure. Done. Add a few bits into the priory roof for a minute, otherwise I'll forget where it is. You wouldn't be too fussed about the colours. Just use up what you've got in your palette for now. Got anything in it, of course. It's fine. Just want to spread that a bit and add a little bit of the priory in the lake water, whatever it is there. Lovely jubbly. Man of mystery. While I'm in the mood, we'll mix up a little bit of a fleshy tone. What colour does Derrick want to be, I wonder? That's the power of art. No, it's just his. I'm hoping that it'll fade. And it's a bit like painting those windows, isn't it? I'm always on about those. I don't put in something, I forget where I won't remember where it is. I think I've got a copy of what Mr. Salisbury looks like, but it should fade back quite nicely. Bit of red. Wow, crimson. Make that red, is it? It's a white dog, isn't it? Sort of, well, yeah. The other one's a, goodness knows, it's shadow colour, isn't it? So what I think we'll do, use that. Don't it ever annoy me? You put down a brush and it, oh, there it is. Disappears off the face of the planet. So anyway, clean water. Oops, don't go over that bit because that's the famous markings on the dog's skin. A bit of raw sienna, burnt sienna, a bit of burnt sienna, and then just drop in some blue. It's about the story, not the photorealistic image. Add some blue onto that. See what happens. Not the dark blue. What about you? When you look at dogs, do they have that? Even a black dog, if you look at a black dog, it's got a sheen to it, hasn't it? It's not, and the starlings aren't black. You look at, they've got loads of colours in them. And I think it's a nicer way of doing it with watercolour. It's the one thing about a watercolour that, well, one of the main advantages of it is that you can do this. Blend, get that sort of sheen of an undercolour on top of the other colour. And one thing you can do, for anyone who's watching on YouTube later. So you can pick bits of colour off it while it's wet and drop them into other parts of the image, which is what you want to do anyway, because it's local colour. Just, you know, for the image. I think I need just to put a bit of a leg down there. A bit more burnt sienna. Not that in. Thank goodness these brushes have such a fine point, don't they? They're like sort of Chinese brushes, aren't they? Bit of shadow down that leg. Burnt sienna floating around. I'll tidy it up later. Lift off some of that colour. Put it on his snout. But it's hopefully it will come off. It will be lighter by lifting it off. But there, it won't be so strong. And have a look at the dog and see if you can see any highlights that you need to just lift off. Usual thing. Put paint on and then lift it all off. But it's stained into the paper now, isn't it? So it's done its job. Well done, mister. You can almost pinch a bit of the colour off of there and put it over here into the little white dog. Same. I'm going to treat it the same. Burnt, running out of water. Burnt sienna. And drop in some blue. It's strong. Have a water. Blend it in. Pink dog. Woof. Find a bit of blue. Just don't know what that blue is in my blue. But it's very strong. Just drop it in there. On top of the burnt sienna. Let the water and the paper do a bit of mingling. Put a drop on his nose. I think I'm going to need to put a few spots of it in here. Got a shadow blending there. Maybe white dog. There's a white dog. Well, little Frodo enjoyed himself around the marshes, around the keys anyway. He likes it down there. And what we've got to do is try and dry these dogs off and paint them in the negative. I have no clue what colour the jacket is that Matey Boy's got on. I'm assuming it's one of those sort of khaki coloured things. I'm going to stick with the burnt sienna. Little wash of, light wash of burnt sienna. And drop in another colour onto it. i.e. green.
So we tried it with blue, now we'll add in a green. You're too far, I don't want to lose the fingers. There you go. Drop in some green, see if that gives me what I'm looking for. I did make some pencil marks. Like if you look on the picture, you can see like pockets and shadow lines. So where I've made a couple of pencil marks, so I'm just putting the green where they are. Make it look like there's you know, a shadowy, darker pocket thing. I think I might need to go over the flesh with a little bit of lighter colour, i.e. me thinking white. Colour coordinated.
Very smart.
Yeah, I was thinking that. That's typical Saucy Salisbury. I've got some dark colour that's left over from previous painting in the palette over here, so just dropping some of that in before we go down below. Yeah, I recommend these brushes now, I think, because the little point on the end, you can really use it as a drawing. You know, while you're painting, you're not actually painting, you're drawing. The alternative, of course, is to talking about these lines that you see on the picture, sort of creases, aren't they? Creases and shadows. Just put some dark paint on them first. But you'll always get a sort of shadow where the jacket meets the trousers. I think it's the same colour, isn't it? So don't mess about. We're all starving here. Somebody mentioned lunch. So just blocking. Got to make, whatever happens, got to make the trousers a different colour from the dog. That's the reason green comes to mind. Otherwise he won't, we'll lose him. There's a sigh then, did you hear that? Well done. Lovely jubbly. Carol's carer. Want that to blend down, don't I? Oh, well done. I think I painting on the wrong side of the paper is definitely an interesting experience. I think I'll make the shoes. I'm going to use for now anyway, the sand colour. Or flesh, do the same thing. Can't see that one. Just trying to find some shadows on this dog. There's got to be some somewhere. Before I dry it off.
Right, that's cool. If we can lift a bit of paint off the shirt. I did consider, Carol's got me trained. I did consider masking the figures and everything out with some masking fluid. I thought we better not. Carol will have a go at me. Oh dear. I'm happy with that. Oh, might as well do his fedora. So it's the same principle. I'm sticking with that now. Burnt sienna, and then dropping in colour to it. Nice and wet. Not quite as wet as I was thinking. I think we'll go back to the blue on this bit. Go for a nice dark. Lift a bit underneath. There you go. Let that run down. Just give it a little bit of build up. I suppose ideally the thing to do now would be to now you've painted them, mask them out. And then you can have a bit go wild with the background. Which I think should be slightly dry now. Yeah, dry enough. Burnt umber, bit of blue, some water first. I'm gradually emptying the paint out of these wells. I can see the back, you know, the base of the container now. I don't know, it's just sort of.
It's a lot easier with the watercolour to clean up than acrylic, isn't it?
You wouldn't be able to do that. You'd never see that again. Just want to put some bits in for the church. Nothing fancy. Stick my hand in the rest of the painting. Just using the pointy bit of this brush to stick some pretend bits on the, I nearly said castle, church. Always has a shadowy bit down the sides and there. That day. Now, this feels it's a bit strong. We can always dab it. I wanted it to be sort of, I don't know, misty, loose. No, don't start, just stop there. Right, next stage. Get some green and some red mixed together. Should give me a nice dark colour. It does. Decide where the I'm imagining there's a bank along here somewhere. So I want a sort of a shadowy line there, a dark line there. Holds quite a lot of paint, this thing, at the end. All I'm doing is squishing the brush up and down. if I can make it look like there's some foliage there. Scrub it. A lot would depend on your paper. This paper is rough because it's the back edge, but it's run out of paint now, so I can use it as a dry brush just to squish it around. Put some water on it, and then go at the bottom of that. I should be able to get it to squish down into the river. Yeah, not going for flash detail. Right, I'm going to quickly dry off. No, maybe not. I'm going to just go for it. Plain water. Go around all the subjects. What I've done is I've put two pencil lines coming from behind Derrick, the figure. One there, just a squiggly line. Chrissy pointed it out earlier. It's a sort of a path, but it's more of a. It is going to be a sort of a path. It's just a. Whoops! Breathe in. It's what's it? Cough in it. It's just a dividing line because I knew as soon as I put the picture up and everyone saw that green, it'd been flipping green. So, but it wasn't. My plan was to get away from that. In my mind's eye. So I've just used. This is just water. I'm just painting water around all the objects that are in it now. And we can use some flesh, combination of flesh and sand, because it is sandy on that area. But hopefully, well, fairly confident that the being nice and wet, I can tease it in. The thing I am conscious of is not to leave too much of a white halo around the figures. Just use clean water and let the paint go up to the edge of them. You'll find you get a better, nicer result, I think. With sandy colour. Nice walk down the beach with the priory. I'm not having either. Not having people say, not green. This is just blocking in. I'll balance it up. Give me a colour, Carol.
Pardon?
Give me a colour.
Oh, I don't know. I've missed half of this. I've been up and down the stairs all morning.
Any colour. First colour that comes in your head.
Blue.
I was banking on you saying blue. So what I've done is I've used the flesh, not flesh, what do you call it? Sand colour. As much as I can around there. Now, thanks to Carol, we're going to drop in some blue onto it, see what happens. Well, if you're never 100% sure what's going to happen, so it was in my mind, start at the front. It's the opposite to what you would normally do. Start at the front and add it from there, because I don't know why. Well, because it feels easier to fix it if it goes wonky. So we'll have the blue darker on one side. It's not too bad. What do you want, mate? Just thinking. Yeah. So, mind if I add a little bit of actually ready colour in? On the sides. Just trying to keep the green to a minimum for a minute. See what I mean? It's got a halo. Don't want it to have a halo. Enough shadow underneath it. Just drop it in. It's fun with water because it's wet. Same there. I'm gonna put a nice bit of which was the where I had the burnt sienna and the green that I mixed up for in here. Red, green, wasn't it? Early lunch, early lunch, early lunch. Well, it's sometimes, well, sometimes, more often than not, a doodle ends up being a nicer picture than a full-blown sit-down serious paint jobby. I think what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to add a variation to the theme. Just use my fan brush as a stipple. Just go up to it. Raw sienna along there.
Moment. Prime video.
Same over here. Now that you can have fun here, because it's your picture, isn't it? So you can put wildflowers or whatever you want. Get some of Carol's blue. When it goes wrong, Carol told me to do it. I'll leave some white bits in there. Well, they're white at the moment, but just to I'm just putting the blue over the top of the, well, intimation of the, where the raw sienna is. Yep. Put a few bits of glossy bits, speckly bits, knobbly bits, whatever they are, around the figures. And one of our arty-farty secrets is if you've drawn something and you're not sure, but I don't know if that dog's got a flipping tail there or not. So how do I get rid of, how do I resolve that issue? Easy enough. Flick a bit of grass there. Well, it's what you have to do, because you can't, the information isn't there. You can't see it on the image, and I'm not stood next to the dog and it's not wagging its tail. So let's do something about that. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Look for a rigger. We got a rigger. I don't know. What does this say? Rosemary Evergreen Rigger. I got a rigger. Woohoo! Right. I'm going to soften this down for a start. And that. It's got a bit of green in it, this colour, but yeah.
Changed it, absolutely.
He's been in the water, so he's got a little bit smudgy.
River. It's on a river, isn't it?
Oh, well, really nice dark blue, shadowy. I decided that is that dog's eye,
Mm.
and that one's eye is over there, but he's got a little eyebrow on it, and his nose is just a little bit. And he's got a little. This is like one of those collie dogs, not collies. I don't know what it is. Some sort of dog that they used to collect their prize with when they've been shooting. Don't go mad. If it ain't broke, I ain't gonna fix it. The stick should really stop there. There's a pencil line there, so I'm gonna have to rub that out later. More shadows. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna mix up some burnt umber and blue. Use a bigger brush. Use a fine brush. Really. Can't get any out. Oh, good. Burnt umber and blue. I just want to stick some darker bits on the edge. Oh, how do you use a rigger? Well, we'll split it with a rigger then. Pick up a few grassy bits, perhaps. Everything's soaking wet here. There's an edge here. Put some stony bits in. And at the back, why not put some real sticky bits in. You have some fun here. You can use a bit of imagination. Put some reeds in. Practice your rigger work. You can even put a big tree in if you want. There are branches and trees and that there. If you want to brighten it up, put some raw sienna at the bottom of it. Awesome. And along that bit at the front, I'm just going to put a little bit of sand. It's the beach, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
With my brush. Red dot. Put a bit of flesh tone in there, just to lighten it down. Same there. Could you colour? But it's still wet up there, so those little flicks I put up, they're sort of blending. It's really weird. I like that. I'm going to do some on the other side. Actually, I can find that rigger again. Sort of frames the image.
Oh, your snips for 1 minute.
Yeah, you stop doing that. You keep using it.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah, they never come back.
Tidy up with some riggery bits. I'm more soaking wet down there, so I'm
Thank you.
just gonna put a line down it so that I know that it's there at some point. I'll have a go. Just to find it. To lighten up the shirt here and there. Think you do. A little bit of, what's it called? La France, bourgeois, bonjour. I'm good at French. As you know, your name is Harvey. We came over with William the Conqueror back in the day, right? Got a few. Oh my God. Need to do that. Put a flipping, that's done it. Better. Sort of an Adolf moustache then. Wouldn't go there. But considering it's the say it's the reverse of the paper, it's not too bad. I was expecting it to go a little bit awry. A bit more flesh over this side, I think. You can see that flesh if you've got, you can put it anywhere. And it fades back as well, so it's a handy colour. More shadow there. Yeah. I'll make up my mind whether to lighten or darken the figure.
I'd brighten him up a bit, make him stand out more.
That's what's on my mind. Let's try a little bit of raw sienna. Wet. These are a lot. There's a that'll dry nice. Yeah. It's just raw sienna on the brush. I'm just using it to add a bit of glow here and there. The beauty of it is because that's got such a fine point on, you can just direct it where you want it. Squish, squish, squish. That's a bit better. Tempted to use the nice little round brush here somewhere. There it is. Thought we might do a little bit off the face. Probably the opposite to what I was thinking earlier on. Same here, I want to lift that one. Make it out of focus. That could go all together. Yep. Better. Yeah, right. Find me rigger. Just put a little bit of shadow under there. More. Bit of hair. There you go. Not as easy as I thought it would be, this picture, is it? Definitely got scope. I've quite enjoyed this. No preconceived things. That's a little bit more looking here and there. I don't have any, what's the word, bright green. There's the mix one. Using a yellow and green together. Just brighten it up a bit. Want some greens in. Oh, that's what I was going to do as well. What I remember. Put that out. Use this. Was use. Just pretend I've got some wild flowers over it. I don't know what they look like. Little gorsy yellow things, aren't they? Orange? I haven't got orange. Bit blue. Yeah, the cobalt blue might work. Water. Get the edge on. Have a few bits in. There you go.
Dave, is it my imagination or is your church leaning slightly to one side? Ever so slightly, or is it just the angle of the camera?
No.
No?
There is a. Doesn't look too bad to me.
Oh, that's right. Must be
No.
me. My eyes.
What I could do, there is a spot just on the edge on brush. So the thing about wriggles are you put them down and you never see them again.
That's it. They're so skinny.
Yeah. I think I've got it. There is a little. That might be throwing it. Everything's gone dry in there. A little bit of tint. Nah. Wrong brush. Mm. No, he's not leaning over.
No. Okay.
What I will do is add a.
I think it might be the light hitting the other side. It's sort of blended into the sky and it looks as if it's, I don't know. Ignore me.
I'll think about it when it's dry. I'll come back.
Well,
got
nobody
it's the
nobody
angle
else
of the
can see it. It's
board.
obviously. Oh, is it?
It might be the angle of the board because the board is running down a bit.
Oh yeah, could be.
Anyway, I'm bored with it. And talking of bored,
Bored.
I'm bored with.
It does look
Okay.
as though it's leaning a bit.
Oh, good. I'm glad it's not just me.
No, it's not just you. No, I think it's the camera angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't paint a wonky church with my Christianity. Oh, blimey. I'd have the Pope round here and everything. The very thought. Choice watercolor, it fades. Well, it's part of its charm, really. It fades so much that, like I said before, as the painting that you start off with isn't the one that you kind of end up with. As it dries, then you sort of have to go back over things to make it look a little bit more charming. Absolutely charming. You look very English. Look like a lovely walk over there. I think I might pop over later. I think you might be having a little bit of a surprise. There you go. What's it look like? It doesn't look too bad, does it?
It's like a very sort of oldie worldy type picture.
Yeah, well, that's a bit sort of a. I think it's partly deliberate. And it's painted on the wrong side of the paper as well, which is parking it a bit. Well, quite a lot, really.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you'll cope with a.
Well, as usual, we'll all interpret it in a different way.
Well, that's what I want.
That's the fun of it.
Yeah, that's what we want to happen.
Yeah.
That's the whole.
Always look forward to seeing everybody else's, how they've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gallery is the best bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, especially when you look back to the earlier things and see how we've all improved.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
It's only me that's going bloody.
the early
It's only me
ones.
that's going backwards.
No.
I don't think so, Dave.
No.
I framed up a load of paintings the other day. The one that I really like, and I always have, is the one we did of Clint Eastwood portrait.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know what it is about that picture. I framed it up, and yeah, I see what you mean. It's because it's a gun sort of subject, isn't it? You expect man and his two dogs out just doing a bit of hunting,
Yeah.
a bit of shooting. Well, I quite like it. I like those, but I am attracted to those subjects, or those paintings. They do. That's what I was joking around. Yeah, it's so very English. It is, isn't it? Yeah. I suppose watching Prince Charles yesterday must have affected me. Well, he was waiting for
King.
Prince Charles, the King. Oh God, he's been promoted, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a promotion.
King Charles. I was watching him yesterday, waiting for Sleepy Joe to arrive.
I still can't think of him like a king, though. I'm like you. I still think of him as Prince Charles.
Yeah.
It's hard to think of him as King Charles.
Me
Quite
too.
humble, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a nice man. I think
meant to be.
he'll do well.
Yeah, he does a lot of good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done. I'm chuffed with that.
Jolly good.
Ish.
Yeah.
It'll be very
It's
interesting.
taken me longer than I wanted. I wanted it to go a bit. I wanted the There you go. Proper old England. Very England. Like I say, I like to wait until tomorrow. They're great. They're okay as they are, but then tomorrow when it dries, it all changes. Well, it alters quite a bit.
Usually the colours fade back, don't they?
Yeah, and things turn out, you know, it suddenly the nuances appear.
Yeah.
Yes, Clint.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I framed him up. He's raring to go.
I never got on with Clint.
What I've done is I've varnished the watercolors.
Oh right.
So you can hang them up, you can frame them straight in without glass.
Oh, of course, I suppose you can. Yeah, yeah. Good thinking.
So that's what I was doing, because I started framing them or cutting the frames and then making a mount. And then one day I was here saying, why are you mounting it? Well, you don't need a mount, just put it straight in the frame. Pretend it's an oil painting. Look at that, wonky church and all.
Yeah, it is a bit one-sided.
I can't actually see it. I can't see it at the moment.
No, it's a job to tell on screen because it runs downhill anyway.
Yeah.
But if it is, if I look at it tomorrow and I think, then I'll grab a watercolor pencil and a ruler.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to do it when
on
it's
the left there. It looks a little bit running to the right.
That's because there is a pencil line there.
Ah, that's what it is. That's what's throwing it. Yeah, that's better.
That's a bit of gold pen.
Yeah. Well, it worked.
It's gold pencil of some description. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know if it's a watercolor or what. But it's quite. I kept it back because I've said it before. You can use it's like flesh. You can use it, bit of gold, anywhere on your painting. You know where you want to make it brighten up, give it a glow, like that stick. I can't do it now because it's blooming dry, too wet. But I could quite easily put a line of that on there. One of my tricks. It's all right now, actually. That it's straightened it out.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm bored. You can have a go now. What's wrong with that? That's all right. Yeah, well, level it up, it's a bit better. I can't make up my mind, we should do right colour now. It's not quite as dark as that.
No.
It's not far away, and it's light. It's darker than that. Julia, it's the camera, isn't it? It's the light. You said it was. That's back to where it was.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could paint this jacket a totally different colour, random, bright red or something. Should we do that? Why not? Or make it stand out a bit.
I'm not saying anything. You decide.
Well, it won't, because it's watercolor. It will only be a layer of another. You know, it's what we were doing last week was putting another layer of paint, another layer of color over the top of what's already there. I just think it might warm it up, don't you? And again, it might not.
They do wear those gilet things, don't they, with a leather trim around them.
The old body warmers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it does make them stand out a bit more from the
Yeah.
background.
Well, it's good. Even that'll fade back.
Yeah.
Warms the picture up as well.
He's looking very smart now. Looks like he's going to a wedding.
Yeah, but it's going to fade back into the other colours, which is the beauty of watercolour.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Even the dog's got a bit of warmth to it. So I can't do this. This is walking stick. I'll use a crayon, watercolor pencil, and just draw a straight line down it when it's dried back a bit.
Yeah.
It will stand out. That'll make it look a little bit more. What colour? I'm just trying to find a different colour. I have to tidy my little desk up here. Can't find anything anymore. Granddad's 300-year-old ruler. No, paper is really wet. You just put a line up. Should help it, but it's a bit too wet at the moment, so it won't stay. We'll see how that develops, how it dries back.
Yeah, he looks better in red.
Yeah.
Well, it'll fade back, so it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Look at those dogs. They're looking so adoringly at their master.
Yeah, yeah. Highly trained gun dogs.
Yeah. Well, I hope Karen's all right after her op.
Who?
Karen. Karen.
Oh,
Dave,
really?
Yeah, Dave said that she was having a little op.
Oh,
so
right.
She
Oh,
might
sorry,
not
I
be
missed
here
that
today.
bit.
Yeah, you did, sorry.
Yeah.
Before you connected.
Ah.
I can't stop you.